cooperative banking, both urban and rural, the way forward. And it's a panel discussion, and there's only one presentation. Otherwise, it's a panel discussion, and I'll request if everybody speaks, remain seated, other than the one presentation, and have a sort of a discussion. And then it will be great if we have a Q&A also with the audience. So, with immense of respect, I invite Shri Chandrakant Dalvi, Commissioner Corporation, Government of Maharashtra, to please come on stage and chair this session. Now I also request Mr. G. Raghuraj, General Manager, IDRBT, to please come on stage. A round of applause for him, please. Mr. Salil Datar, Chief General Manager, Branch Banking of Shamrao Vitthal Cooperative Bank. Do we have Mr. Salil, IDRBT? I invite Mr. Murali Urs, who is a Country Manager of Barracuda Networks. A round of applause for this industry expert. Barracuda is our associate partner as well in this summit. A
post-lunch session, it's very difficult to have an attention of the people, but Karthik has had a very good fun game here, and not only the fun, but also given an award of say 11,000 rupees smartphone. So thank you very much for making this post-lunch session alive by organizing a game and awarding one of the participants with the smartphone also. The next session which we are going to discuss about is a safe and secure cooperative banking, urban as well as rural, a way forward. And there were many other participants also in the panelist, but today we are here only 3 of us, including myself. We have Mr. Raghuraj from the IDRBT, he's the General Manager. In the morning inaugural session, we have Mr. Ramashastri, who made a very good presentation about the use of technology in the rural banking, urban banking. And we have Mr. Murli Ars, he's a country manager from the Barracuda network. They had a beautiful stall outside, and we must have, everybody might have taken a round to the stalls. And so instead of having a panel discussion, from the morning onwards, we don't have any opportunity to have an interaction with the participants. So on this subject, as well as any other subject, if any question in the minds of the participants, we'll have a discussion about half an hour, and thereafter there will be a concluding remarks from this panel. Before actually we start question answer, I will request the Mr. Ars to make a presentation on the whatever topic he has. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I think as Sir said, I think it's going to be a difficult task for us to keep you all awake. I would actually rather request the spotlights to on that side so people are awake, when we are actually speaking on the dais here. So this is a very quick presentation about what Barracuda does. Just give a quick overview, so it actually dovetails into the discussion we are going to have. Before we get on to the presentation of what Barracuda does, we would like to definitely think through a particular phrase which George Bernard Shaw said. A lot of us actually keep doing the same stuff again and again. We don't want to relook at things. We always we think we have experience, we want to stick to what we know. And I think when we actually stick to these kind of thoughts, we actually many a times miss out on what's coming new, or what is we can do something different, or what's available which is actually probably different from what you have been doing till now. So with this as a background, just give a quick introduction about myself. I'm Murli Ars. I work for Barracuda Networks. I've been in the industry for 20 plus years, in the security and storage domain for almost like 15 years now. Worked with organizations like HP for 3.5 years before Barracuda. Worked with a Veritas Symantec combination. I was at Veritas, which got acquired by Symantec for around 8 years. So that's a small brief about myself. What does Barracuda do? We founded in 2003. We got a headquarters in Silicon Valley. We are also a Bay Area company, like a lot of software vendors whom you interact with. We got more than 1,300 employees worldwide. We have 5,000 plus resellers. We are 100% channel company. So even this particular stall we have actually is in conjunction with a partner called Convergys. We work with partners everywhere because that gives us a spread to meet up with more customers and offer more of our services. We got more than 270,000 subscribers worldwide. We have 500 plus customers in India, and very, very proud to say we are Government of India entities as our customers. We have state government entities. We have people like AICTE. We have around 7 to 8 banks as our customers in India. We also have a few insurance companies, plus ITITS vertical as usual. I think every vendor has ITITS as a customer you work with. We are growing very quickly. We have grown in India also by 65%. A distributed development center, one of the things we offer to our customers in India is we have a pretty sizable development center in India. 3 of our core technologies get developed in India. People at government level, sometimes they're just very happy talking to a support center because they can actually get support in Hindi also, so they find it very interesting, that people at the support center can actually understand and give them whatever they want. Data centers, we offer a lot of cloud solutions. So we have data centers all across the globe. We are working towards setting up one in India, but as of now, we don't have, but we are a very strong cloud supporter. We work with Microsoft Azure. We are, in fact, Microsoft's world's best security partner when it comes to Azure deployment. We're a very big partner for Amazon as well. So where does Barracuda actually come in? So let's look at what your life goes through, right? I mean, if you're an IT expert, your life is very difficult. I mean, I use a very simple analogy always. An IT manager's job or a CTO's job is like a wicketkeeper in a cricket match. I mean, I don't think we have ever seen a headline in a newspaper that says a wicketkeeper has taken 7 catches, that's why India won the match. I don't think they'll ever say that, right? 6 catches, 7 catches, 2 stumpings, doesn't matter. I mean, it can become a record, but nobody will go and say it was a great job done by the keeper because he's supposed to do that. That's his job. The same thing with an IT manager. Servers run, networks run, applications are available, data is available when you want to, everything is perfect. I don't think anybody is going to come and give a pat on your back and say you're doing a great job. Because you're supposed to do it, that's your salary. I mean, you're paid salary for that, right? But imagine 1 catch or 2 catch dropped, I'm sure it's going to be the headline in a newspaper tomorrow morning. Because if that batsman goes on to score a century, I'm sure Dhoni dropped this batsman and that's why the batsman went to score a century. Same thing in IT manager. Exchange server doesn't work a day. I'm sure the next 364 days they'll remember you. Every time they say, hey, Exchange server didn't work. You go for appraisal, they say, hello, fine, but why didn't the Exchange server work around last March or last December? So that's how an IT manager's job is, because it's very complicated, right? I mean, there are so many things to manage. And this has happened because a lot of customers have always bought technologies which probably they don't need, and bought it from too many vendors. Too many things always given by somebody else is using, I want to use it. Some other bank is using, that's why I want to use it. Some other company is actually saying they're Gartner leader, that's why I want to buy. You may not need that at all. And that's why it becomes complicated for you people to work on the technology. Believe me, I think in today's world, buying a technology available somewhere else in the world, in India today, is probably 3 days away. If a mobile phone gets launched in the US, it gets launched in India 2 days after that. But what do you do with it? How well are you equipped to use that equipment after you buy? That's the key, right? It's not easy. Money is there, you can go buy anything. So lengthy sales cycle. Because the technology is complicated, you take long time to buy. You are actually evaluating more and more vendors because you think that particular technology is going to suit you. Pricing is very complicated. You don't know whether to buy per user, per capacity, how many users. If I increase the user, what happens to the license? If I decrease the license, what happens to the license? Very complicated. Deployments becomes difficult because you're trying to integrate multiple technologies to do one job, right? Your server comes from one vendor, network comes from another vendor, your software comes from the third vendor, you're trying to make all of them work. Then, because of this, you need expert training. On top of it, phone support is so pathetic. I mean, it's very, very complicated. Not to demean the banking. I know how when you call a banking industry, sometimes to talk to somebody, you probably have to press 7 buttons. Right? It's so difficult. So imagine IT manager's job is using equipment from a networking vendor, from a server vendor, from a storage vendor, from a software vendor. Something goes wrong. How many people does he call? And how long will he actually hold the line to speak to somebody? So it's a very complicated thing. I mean, it's easy for us to say, Exchange server is not working, my mail is not coming. That's not as easy as we think, right? So this adds to the cost of you running your IT infrastructure, because it's, as I told you, buying is not the complexity. Managing is what costs you a lot of money. What is the ROI and the TCO for the deployment you're actually doing? Next, how many people will you actually have to manage the infrastructure? How many will you train? Iteration is people quit. People quit, new people come in, again you have to train them. Partners, today's partner A who supplies you equipment for networking, that partner doesn't have people, you go to partner B. Again, that partner also doesn't have people, so it gets very complicated internally as well as externally, right? Third, your information is no longer at one place. Information is there everywhere. It's available in your data center, it's available in your branch offices, it's available in your regional offices, it's available on every handheld device people carry today. Information available. So you need to have technology and people to manage all these things. So what does Barracuda provide? We provide cloud-connected solutions for storage and security to help you reclaim and simplify your IT. Our whole philosophy of the company is, I don't know what happened here. Yeah, but I think it went to a different slide altogether, so I need to go back and probably do this. Okay, I think I shouldn't be touching this. Okay, so we provide cloud-connected storage and security solutions that help customers simplify IT. So how do we actually do this? First thing, we help customers simplify things. Let's look at how complicated our life is in the next slide. How many of you can relate this slide to your life? I'm sure all of us have, most of us have smart TVs at home, an LG or a Samsung or a Sony TV. How many buttons does the remote have? Have you ever counted it? 15, 18, 20, 23? Yes or no? When was the last time you used more than 5 buttons on the remote? From the time you buy your TV and the time you sell and probably buy a new one, or put this into the bedroom and get the new one, you will not touch more than 5 or 6 buttons. So why do you have 18 buttons? This is how products are bought by most of the companies. Just because it's there, it's not necessary that you need to buy them. The moment you buy them, you start having a complicated thing because you don't know what to do with them. The only time the TV remote buttons we actually know how it works is when the user, when the guy who came to install the TV demonstrated what they do. After that, we don't even remember what their buttons do. The same thing happens with most of the vendors. When you buy IT products, you probably go through all the features because that guy is doing a POC and a demo, but you don't know what to do after you buy the product because you don't need more than probably 15 features. You end up buying 40 features and paying so much of money, right? Second, to do one task, people are buying tons and tons of products. Let's look at something like backup. Customers today, for doing a simple thing like backup, buy a backup software, buy a server, buy a storage device, attach that to a tape library, then you have people, right? So you try to bring in all of them and make it work to get one simple backup done. Now how complicated is that, right? Why don't we just move everything to a single appliance? Just have everything, one person managing all the things, software, storage, servers, anything you want, move it into a single appliance. Next, deployment should be given to you. You decide how you want to deploy the technology you want to buy. You have place, you have power, you have people to manage, fine, go buy an appliance. You want to feel the technology, not just see it, buy the appliance. You can feel it up because boxes there, you can feel it, you can see it. It's an asset you can manage. You have people to manage it. You can put it on the rack, use it. You say, no, I have the rack, but I don't want to have another hardware. Fine, you have computing power, go ahead and do it on the virtual machine. So put the same technology on one virtual machines which you have. The third option, you say, I don't have people, I don't have space, I don't want to even have that asset with me, but I want to use the technology which is going to help me perform better. Fine, go ahead and use the cloud version of it. So you don't buy the asset, but you buy the technology so you can use it, right? Next, management. The single biggest problem for every IT person on this planet. As I said in the beginning, buying technology is a left-hand job. Give money, you can get tons of them. What do you do with it? So what if I tell you, you should be able to manage multiple technologies from one console? It could be things like email security, it could be things like network security, it could be things like load balancing, it could be things like backup. You should be able to manage all of them from one single pane of glass. Especially when the organizations like yours, which are not too IT savvy, you don't have a large manpower to manage the entire IT infrastructure. You cannot have experts on security one domain, server one domain, storage one domain. You can't probably not have it, right? So you'd definitely like to have a technology which will tell you manage all of them from one single pane of glass. You should have unified management solution to manage multiple technologies. Next, easy to buy. Don't be worried about how many users are there, how many servers I have today, how many servers I'm going to add tomorrow, how many servers I'm going to reduce, what is the storage I have today, what is the storage I'm going to increase tomorrow, how many applications I'm running today, how many applications I'm going to add tomorrow. None of them should bother you. You just should buy an you should have an IT infrastructure, add and delete, increase and decrease, how much ever you want based on what suits your business requirement. I think at the end of the day, IT always does job so it helps business. It's not the other way around, right? So you go out and run your business, leave the way the technologies to scale up or scale down based on how your business requirements are. So that's how easy, IT infrastructure should be. So all this is available with Barracuda, and these are the technologies we publish. We publish products like anti-spam, that's email security. We have a fantastic web security. I'll show you how fantastic we are when we put up some reports. Then we have NGFW. You can read about that particular product or see a bigger video in our stall, a detailed video. Then we have a Barracuda load balancer. We do load balancing for any applications you have. So I think as and when cooperative banks start deploying more and more IT savvy applications or go onto the web, performance becomes very, very critical. So load balance becomes very, very important. Then your web application firewall, again, as you start putting your applications onto the web, you definitely want to have application security. So we are a very strong player there. Then we have backup. Again, it's a consolidated backup solution where you don't pay for software separately, don't pay for storage separately, nothing. You just buy one appliance, back up your existing infrastructure, and start using it. Completely licensed on total storage capacity. Got nothing to do with number of servers, nothing to do with the number of users you have. Then message archiver, email archiving. I think that's a mandate that RBI is actually driving now. Most banks need to have email archived because email is a very legitimate document. You need to maintain the email for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years based on whatever the rules are. So we have a solution that helps you maintain these emails. So how are we positioned? On the backup, we are the world #1, undisputed, bigger than everybody else. We're definitely the #1 when it comes to content security. Content security is basically ensuring that you manage what is the traffic that's going on the pipe. You find out who's accessing Facebook. If they're accessing Facebook, are they supposed to watch streaming videos? Who can access LinkedIn? HR can, but employees shouldn't. Then you can actually look at if I'm accessing a banking transaction, the advertisement shouldn't come up, but I should be able to do only the banking transaction. So basically do content security. Again, we are #1. When it comes to messaging security, basically it's filtering emails for spam and malicious content, attachments, which is like Word, Excel, which has got malicious content. We are again the #1. Web security tracker, we are the #1, basically tracking which are the, how is the web being used by the employees, so we can help you track that. We are the #1 again. And all our products are part of the Gartner. We are not saying that we are leaders everywhere because we don't do too much of work on positioning ourselves as a leader because we work with customers to make the life simpler, help them reclaim the IT, so we are not too strong on that, but every technology of ours is part of the Gartner report. And we are we are being considered by most of the analysts when they come out with technical documents, certification documents. We do get certified. It's not that you're dealing with an organization who doesn't have any credentials. We also got some awards. Network computing for the best security product was for NG Firewall. We have a next generation firewall is doing phenomenal business. We have customers who actually have got 5,000 firewalls in a single order. I mean, we actually picked up orders where we have sold 5,000 firewalls to one customer and deployed all over the world. And the beauty is, all managed from one console. One guy sitting in Paris manages 5,000 firewalls deployed all over the world. So that's because our products are very well integrated and very well managed from from a management standpoint. Very good support. I've been in this company for 2 years. I'm not saying that we are the best, but I think in the long career I've had, Barracuda seems to be one of the best support organizations. I haven't had customers who called up and said, I regret buying your product, or I haven't had partners who called up and said, I'm feeling very unhappy I sold your product. No, we have a very well organized support infrastructure. So this is in a nutshell what Barracuda does. We don't charge customers on per user, per license fees. You can go and buy whatever Barracuda products you want. World-class support. We don't have a phone tree. It's not that we say anti-spam, press 1, web filter, press 2, backup, press 3. We don't do that. You call up Barracuda Support Center, somebody will pick up the phone and ask you how can we help you. Single console to manage. So everything I showed you as and part of the products, all these technologies can be managed from one console. Anti-spam, backup, load balancer, firewall. You name the product of Barracuda, you can manage all of them from one single console, right? Plug and play model, uncomplicated to use, very easy to deploy because there's no licensing issue, there is no separate modules. We don't sell web filter separately, then we don't sell other technologies separately, or for example, load balancer and then the web application firewall. We don't do all that, so it's very easy to plug and use whatever features you want. Delivery within 3 weeks of PO. We ship the same day the PO is placed. It's not like somebody else, other vendors come and say 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. No, we commit to you 3 weeks delivery, 3 weeks delivery for everything we sell. And 4th year hardware refresh, which I think is revolutionary in the industry. So every 4 years, a customer gets a new hardware, right? So if you buy a product from me this year in 2014, in 2015, as long as you keep renewing your support, in 2015, you get a full, complete hardware from us. Now, the question can be from you, well, what if it's end of sale or end of life cycle? We don't do that. We've never done end of life for any technology in the last 12 years we have been here as an organization. We have never done end of life. We've done hardware refresh, same product runs, we just keep increasing the firmware, we add better features, but the product continues to stay, right? So this, in a nutshell, is what Barracuda does. I'm here in the panel to answer any questions you have. More than welcome. Thanks for your time. I hope you're going to be you found this useful. We look forward to meeting many of you in your offices. Thank you very much.
Speak for 5 minutes. After this presentation of Mr. Ars, we'll have a question answer session here. From the morning we have 3 sessions. One was on inauguration, then special address about the urban cooperative banks by Mr. Rasal. Then there was a 5-6 presentations of the various technology partners, that is leveraging technology driving cooperative banking. Then before lunch there was strengthening rural cooperative banking through technology. And after lunch we have this presentation on the safe and secure cooperative banking. So on these four panel discussions and presentations, I keep the deliberations open for the questions and answers. From any session, any doubt in your mind, there was not an opportunity to raise the questions and get the answer. So we'll have an open session here for question and answer before the last session. So another half an hour for the questions and answers. Please, you can ask any question. We on the dais or people who have made the presentations till the morning will answer your questions.
So is it fine if we keep it 20 minutes, sir? For 20 minutes we'll keep it, and please raise your hands if you have any questions. And I just tell you that after this session we'll have another gift giving from Vsoft, and at the end award ceremony there'll be a tablet with the lucky draw will be given to one of the lucky delegates. So please stay here till the award ceremony. So anybody has any question, if you can raise your hands for any speaker, sir.
I'm from Pratap Bank, CK Singh. उन्होंने मराठी में नए नियम के बारे में, महाराष्ट्र का कोऑपरेटिव के बारे में बताया। वो बता रहे थे कि सभासदों को ज्ञानवर्धन करना, तो सभासद तो 10,000, 15,000, लाख सभासद है, उनका ज्ञानवर्धन हम लोग कैसे करेंगे?
You are from which bank?
प्रताप कोऑपरेटिव बैंक।
Which bank?
प्रताप कोऑपरेटिव
Cooperative
बैंक।
Bank. See, after the 97th amendment to the Constitution, the amendment to the Maharashtra Cooperative Societies Act has been implemented already, and all the members as well as all the office bearers of the institution have to be trained within 5 years. It is not to be trained within 6 months or within a year or immediately after they are becoming a member. We have to have the program for 5 years. In the Cooperatives Act, amended Cooperative Act, there is a section called 24H. 24H section is there, in which it is compulsory that all the members should be trained. The training to the members will be only in respect of their rights and whatever services which are being given by this society to the members. This will be the only limited portion of training to the members. And this can be a one-day training, it can be 2-day trainings. You can devise the modules and you can organize trainings village-wise, sector-wise, ward-wise. So this is expected to have a training within 5 years. So if you're having, say, 10,000 members, you can plan, say, training of 2,000 members this year and spell it over for next 5 years. And 2,000 also you can spell it, say every month you can plan for, say, 200, 300 like this. And if you have a training center, well, otherwise there are training centers established in Maharashtra. Even few associations are also having a training centers. You can devise your own program and request the corporate training centers to say impart the training to your members. So this is how it is to be implemented. Unless the members know their rights and their prerogatives, they will not be able to become an active member. So to make them active member, the training is the prerequisite. So this is not difficult to have a training for those many people. As a cooperative commissioner, I have to train more than 6 crore people in Maharashtra. Because in Maharashtra, there are 234,000 cooperative institutions. And the population of Maharashtra is 11.30 crores. And as on today, 6.30 crore members are of the cooperative societies. So 50% of the population in Maharashtra is the member of one or the other cooperative society. So every cooperative society, not only the bank, every cooperative society has to have the training of their members. It can be one day training, 2-day training, organized in your bank. Many cooperative institutions are having their own training centers, but they were never thinking of giving a training to the members. So this amended act made a provision to have the training for the members also. Start with, you may be able to cover, say, 50%, 60%, 70%, but in due course of time, you have to have the training for the 100% members.
Dr. Subhash Tiwari from Akola Janta Commercial Cooperative Bank, Akola. Extension of the same question, sir. We have got 1 lakh shareholders, 34 branches, multi-state. And it is virtually impossible. Whatever you said, yes, hypothetically may be possible, but to train 1 lakh shareholders physically, man to man, is virtually impossible. Methodology will have to be devised by the government itself, and something, it may be audiovisual by newspapers or magazines or something like that, but calling people for training, I don't think that it is a practicable solution.
It is basically, since you have 1 lakh and more shareholders, yeah, you are a bigger organization. The smaller organization will have, say, 100 or 1,000 or 5,000 members. Yes. You are having 1 lakh. shareholders. So it is just possible, you just think of how to organize a training for them. It is not difficult. You can have the data as to how 1 lakh members are residing in how many talukas, how many villages. In one taluka, how many members are residing, whether 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. You can organize trainings taluka-wise, district-wise, cluster of the villages you can identify. You can map your shareholders on your area of jurisdiction. You will find that how many members are there in Nagpur city, how many they are in Pune, how many in the Indapur. So like that, you have to have some idea, devise some solution. Then and then only you will be able to reach your customer, your shareholder. Other, if you are not planning even to reach the shareholder, even by training of one day, then what type of a cooperative institution we are?
Sir,
So therefore, deliberately it is introduced in the Act. On this issue, Mr.
Good afternoon, friends. This is Raghuraj from IDRBT. I am from the training college, so I know how this is organized. Bankers training colleges come, the faculty comes to us and gets trained, and then they go and train in their colleges. So you can have a plan where you can train the trainers if you can't reach all the 1 lakh together. So you can have that branching sort of system, identify a group of people who will be trained, they will go and train that. This is one way of this. And awareness, yes, that is the most important. This panel is termed as safe and secure rural banking, right? What is the difference between safe and secure? Are they different or are they same? See, safe is as safety as we understand that our things have to be safe. Now, secure is whether the delivery is also happening in the same secure way. That's how we differentiate safe and secure. So this awareness is very, very required, not only the shareholders, your customers, because the biggest thing which is lacking is awareness among people. Even the bank staff itself is not aware of what are all there. I heard the earlier panel, our friend from Kolhapur, he was saying what is the gap in delivery at the rural places and all. That's the biggest challenge we have. At the same time, the challenge is giving us the opportunity also. Like we came late into computerization. Supposing somebody here has not brought a mobile at all till now. Today when he buys the latest. So we enter late, but we come with the latest and best practices. That's how we approach this. I fully empathize with the Kolhapur district, what they said. I have seen that experience myself. So thank you. Any other question, please? Yeah. Please.
Sir, there is any relation between the rainy climate and the connectivity? Because I am the CEO, I am facing the problem. If there is a slow connectivity or the connectivity is not giving continuously for 4 or 5 days, so always our company says that because of the rainy climate.
Sir, rainy climate, as we know, has affected only the VSAT type of connectivity. When fiber optic connectivity should not be affecting at all. Even if there is big rain and storm, we are able to see satellite TV very nicely, we are enjoying at home. Why can't this be done? It's only where we give the priority. Now about connectivity, yes, there are 6 or 7 major service providers for giving connection, service providers are there. But where the biggest reach today is BSNL. BSNL is what reaches. I request government agencies to take up with this BSNL service provider to come in a professional way and provide. Even the major service providers like SIFI, Reliance, Tata and Airtel, last mile they go for BSNL only. So we have to strengthen BSNL or push BSNL to say that you are the one who will reach the cooperative banks. When I really felt bad and when I shared on lunch table with that, 8 days you don't get the connectivity. This is very, very sad. And if date is connectivity is not there and your 50 plus staff who is trying to learn and when he tries to log in, he says after 8 days you come, he loses interest. See, unless the service is available, secure service is available, the learning process itself takes a longer time. So I urge all the entire forum along with the government representatives here to really impress upon BSNL that you are the future of India. All the private service providers will come at the higher level. So we were talking throughout the day that, okay, technology is for the urban areas and all. It's not reaching the rural areas. So this is the one big gap, technology. Yes.
use of technology requires the connectivity. That is the prerequisite of any e-governance project. And you must be knowing that the Digital India project, which is taken up by the Government of India, is meant for providing the secure and faster connectivity to the all Gram Panchayats in the country. So in coming 1 or 2 years, the connectivity will not be an issue in Maharashtra. On that line, the Government of India is working on this infrastructural development of a connectivity. So let us start going for the computerization. By the time you establish your hardware and your manpower required, training and everything, by the time the connectivity is going to improve in due course of time. Slowly the connectivity issue in India, in Maharashtra, will be sorted out in coming 2 years. So government has already taken initiative on this issue. Government of India themselves working on this. And they know when they talk about the Digital India, Digital Maharashtra, connectivity is in an issue, and the Government of India is bent upon to supply connectivity to each and every Gram Panchayat. So when we talk about the each and every Gram Panchayat in India, all branches of the banks, maybe cooperative, commercial, private, all bank branches will get the assured connectivity in all the country.
सर, लंचच्या पूर्वीच्या सत्रामध्ये पॅक्स टू अपेक्स बँक्स नेटवर्किंगचा जो मुद्दा आपण मांडलेला आहे, पॅक्स टू अपेक्स बँक्सच्या नेटवर्किंगमध्ये पॅक्स टू DCCBचा नेटवर्किंगचा प्रयोग अकोला DCCB बँकेने सध्या केलेला आहे.
व्हेरी गुड.
याच्यामध्ये 835 पॅक्सचे सगळ्या सभासदांचे अकाउंट्स हे DCCB बँकेमध्ये आहे. मेन हर्डल असा आहे, आणि त्याचं अनुकरण करण्यासाठी जिल्हा बँका जावत नाही दिसत होत्या. त्याच्यामध्ये आहे अकाउंटिंग सिस्टीम्स इन 3 टायर स्ट्रक्चर. कारण अकाउंटिंग सिस्टीमची जे ॲडजस्टमेंट आहे की बॉरोवर पहिल्यांदा आपला जो DCCBचा बॉरोवर आहे पॅक्स, आणि पॅक्सचा बॉरोवर आहे सभासद म्हणजे फार्मर्स. पण त्या अकाउंटिंग सिस्टीममध्ये DCCB बँकांचा जेव्हा रिकव्हरी बॉटम लेवलवर येते तेव्हा ती ॲडजस्ट पहिल्यांदा ओल्डेस्ट डिफॉल्टमध्ये किंवा इंटरेस्टमध्ये केली जाते. ती बँकिंग प्रॅक्टिस आहे, बँकिंग प्रिन्सिपल आहे. या सिस्टीममध्ये आपल्याला पॅक्सचं संपूर्ण अकाउंटिंग नेटवर्किंगमध्ये जर जोडायचं असेल, आणि अकाउंटिंगमध्ये जर ट्रान्सपरन्सी आणि ॲक्युरेसी यायची असेल, तर ती सिस्टीम बदलावी लागणार आहे, जी अकोला DCCB बँकेने बदललेली आहे. कारण अकोला DCCB बँकेने एक मानसिक तयारी केलेली आहे की तो संपूर्ण लॉस आपण सहन करायचा आणि तो कुठेतरी रिकूप करायचा पॅक्सचं डेव्हलपमेंट करून. हे तेव्हा शक्य होईल की जेव्हा पॅक्स त्या संपूर्णपणे स्ट्रेंथन होतील. म्हणून पहिला मुद्दा हा आहे की आपण बिफोर ॲडॉप्टिंग द टेक्नॉलॉजी ऑफ पॅक्स दे मस्ट बिकम स्ट्रेंथन. त्या स्ट्रेंथनसाठी काय करायला पाहिजे किंवा कोणत्या करायला पाहिजे, एक आपण सेमिनार आपण स्वतंत्रपणे या पॅक्ससाठी घेऊया अशी सूचना आहे. दुसरा महत्त्वाचा मुद्दा आहे ट्रेनिंगच्या बाबतीत, मेंबर्सच्या ट्रेनिंगच्या बाबतीत, की जो अर्बन बँकांच्या सभासदाच्या बाबतीत लागू होतो तो जिल्हा बँकांच्या फार्मर्स ट्रेनिंग, कारण ते फार्मर्स पॅक्सचे ट्रेनिंग आहे. 2.5 लाख फार्मर्स अकोला अँड वाशिम DCCमध्ये आहेत. यावर्षी एक प्रयोग केला ट्रेनिंगसाठी. जिल्हा बँकांच्या आमसभेमध्ये सगळेच्या सगळे पॅक्सचे एक्झिक्युटिव्ह मेंबर बोलावलेत, आणि त्याच्यामध्ये एक स्पीच चांगल्या तज्ज्ञाचं ठेवलं गेलं. जे आमचे तज्ज्ञ म्हणजे चेअरमन आहेत, त्या स्पीचच्या सगळ्या कॉपीज काढल्यात, आणि त्या कॉपीज संपूर्ण पॅक्सच्या आमसभेमध्ये इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फॉर्म्समध्ये दिल्यात. त्यांना भाड्याचे सगळे इम्प्रूव्हमेंट घेऊन दिले, आणि आमचे इन्स्पेक्टर किंवा फील्ड स्टाफ जो आहे त्याच्यामार्फत दिला. याद्वारेच हे ट्रेनिंग होऊ शकते. पण त्याचं कुठे असे रेकॉर्ड होऊ शकत नाही की प्रत्येक माणसाला ट्रेनिंग दिलेलं आहे. कारण आपल्याकडे अशी सिच्युएशन क्रिएट झालेली आहे ऑडिटरमध्ये, किंवा तुमचं ट्रेनिंगचं सर्टिफिकेट दाखवा, तर ते सर्टिफिकेट काही होऊ शकणार नाही. पण ज्यावर्षी त्याचं रेकॉर्ड जर झालं की आपण अशा पद्धतीने ट्रेनिंग दिलं, तर मग त्यात निश्चित होऊ शकते. ह्या 2 बाबी मी आपल्याकडे शेअर करू इच्छितो.
तुम्ही जो पहिला मुद्दा सांगितला की कॉपरेटिव्ह सेक्टरमध्ये जर का स्ट्रेंथनिंग करायचं असेल, तर जोपर्यंत आम्ही प्रायमरी क्रेडिट कॉपरेटिव्ह सोसायटीज ह्या स्ट्रेंथन करत नाहीत, सक्षम करत नाही, तोपर्यंत कॉपरेटिव्ह सेक्टर किंवा कॉपरेटिव्ह बँकिंग इम्प्रूव्हमेंट होऊ शकत नाही. याच्याशी मी 100% सहमत आहे. त्याच्यामध्ये अनेक इश्यूज आहेत आणि त्याच्यामध्ये पहिला मुद्दा जो आहे तो सचिवांच्या नेमणुकींचा. कारण आज 21,000 पॅक्सपैकी फक्त 8,500 पॅक्सकडेच सचिव आहेत. त्यामुळं एक पॅक एक सचिव ही जोपर्यंत सिच्युएशन येत नाही तोपर्यंत खऱ्या अर्थानं पॅक्समध्ये इम्प्रूव्हमेंट होणार नाही, बँकिंग सेक्टरमध्ये इम्प्रूव्हमेंट होणार नाही. त्याच्या बाबतीमध्ये महाराष्ट्र शासन आणि सहकार आयुक्त कार्यालय याच्यावर आम्ही ऑलरेडी काम करतो आहोत. एक स्कीम घेऊन आम्ही गव्हर्नमेंटकडे जातो आहोत आणि त्याच्यानंतर पुढच्या 3-4 महिन्यामध्ये एक स्कीम घेऊन येऊ की ज्याच्या माध्यमातून प्रत्येक पॅक्सला एक सचिव नेमण्यात येईल. कम्प्युटरायझेशनच्या संदर्भामध्ये इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चरचा एक इश्यू आहे, ज्याच्यामध्ये अनेक पॅक्सकडे कम्प्युटर्स नाहीत असं सांगण्यात येतं. परंतु कम्प्युटर खरेदी करणे काही फार मोठी आता इन्व्हेस्टमेंट अशातला भाग नाही. 50,000मध्ये प्रिंटरपासून सगळ्या गोष्टी येऊ शकतात. याच्या बाबतीमध्ये बँकेच्या वतीनं म्हणजे DCC बँकाने कर्ज म्हणून जरी समजा काही पॅक्सकडे खऱ्या अर्थानं तेवढे पैसे नसतील तर काही बँका कर्ज म्हणून सुद्धा इन टर्म्स ऑफ काइंड्स तुम्ही कम्प्युटर संस्थांना देऊ शकता. आणि अशा पद्धतीनं आपल्याला हळूहळू पुढं जावंच लागेल. जरी लिमिटेशन्स आहे त्याच्याबद्दल काय दुमत नाही. दुसरा मुद्दा तुम्ही सांगितला प्रशिक्षणाच्या बाबतीमध्ये वेगवेगळ्या माध्यमातून डिसेमिनेशन ऑफ इन्फॉर्मेशन. बेसिकली काय हक्क आहेत सभासदांचे, त्यांनी त्या सोसायटीच्या काय सेवा कमीत कमी घेतल्या पाहिजेत, त्याला कमीत कमी हे तरी माहिती झालं पाहिजे की क्रियाशील सभासद म्हणजे काय. तो जर का क्रियाशील सभासद राहिला नाही तर त्याची मेंबरशिप धोक्यात येऊ शकते, तो निवडणुकीला उभं राहू शकत नाही. एवढ्या जरी गोष्टी लोकांच्यापर्यंत गेल्या तरी त्याला ट्रेनिंग आपण समजू शकतो. त्याला अगदी कॉपरेटिव्ह सेक्टर म्हणजे काय आहे तिथून थेअरीपासून त्याला सगळं शिकवलं पाहिजे अशातला भाग नाही. पण त्याची कर्तव्य, त्याचं हक्क आणि ते जर का तो क्रियाशील सभासद राहिला नाही तर त्याच्यावर होणारे त्याचे परिणाम, एवढ्या गोष्टीचं प्रशिक्षण देण्यासाठी आता रघुराजन साहेबांनी एक खूप चांगला मुद्दा सांगितले की मास्टर्स ट्रेनर्स तयार करणं आणि त्यांच्यामार्फत त्या तालुक्यामध्ये समजा तुमच्याकडे एका तालुक्यामध्ये समजा 100 गावं आहेत, 100 गावामधल्या 50 गावामध्ये मेंबर्स आहेत, तर त्या गाववाईज तुम्ही मास्टर ट्रेनरला पाठवून प्रोग्राम लावून गावामध्ये तुम्ही संध्याकाळच्या वेळेला एक ग्रामसभा घेऊन त्या लोकांच्यासाठी 1-2 तासाचं 3 तासाचं एवढं ट्रेनिंग दिलं तरी सुद्धा ते सभासदासाठी ट्रेनिंग पुरेसं आहे. मात्र कर्मचारी, अधिकारी आणि पदाधिकारी यांच्यासाठी इन हाऊस ट्रेनिंग 2 किंवा 3 दिवसाचं तुम्हाला ऑर्गनाईज करावं लागेल. पुढचा प्रश्न प्रतापराव, आणखी काय लोकांना विचारू देऊ आपण. मागे कुणीच नसेल तर प्रतापरावांना परवानगी देऊ आपण. हां,
मी कालिदास सुतार फ्रॉम सेवा विकास बँक पुणे. माझा प्रश्न आहे, गांधी कमिटीचा जो रिपोर्ट आहे त्याच्याबद्दल आपलं काय म्हणणं आहे?
गांधी कमिटीच्या रिपोर्टच्या संदर्भामध्ये मी माझं प्रायमरी ओपिनियन सांगतो. मी पूर्ण रिपोर्ट अजूनही वाचलेला नाही. परंतु गांधी समितीचा एवढाच मुद्दा आहे की अर्बन कॉपरेटिव्ह बँक्सला जर का प्रायव्हेट बँक्समध्ये कन्वर्ट व्हायचं असेल तर त्याच्यामध्ये काय प्रोव्हिजन्स असल्या पाहिजेत, कुठल्या पद्धतीनं गेल्यानंतर प्रायव्हेट बँक्समध्ये त्यांना कन्वर्ट करता येऊ शकतं, याच्याबद्दलच्या रेकमेंडेशन्स आहेत. आता बेसिकली प्रायव्हेट बँक्समध्ये जर का आपण कॉपरेटिव्ह बँकमधून प्रायव्हेट बँकमध्ये आपण जर का गेलो तर आपलं रेग्युलेटरी फ्रेमवर्कमध्ये बदल होऊन जातो. रेग्युलेटरी फ्रेमवर्क हे डायरेक्टली विल बी अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ RBI. सध्या ड्युअल कंट्रोल आहे. सध्या सहकार विभागाचं कंट्रोल आहे. रजिस्ट्रेशन करावं लागतं, लेखापरीक्षण करावं लागतं, मॅनेजमेंट, या सगळ्या गोष्टी सध्या सहकार आयुक्तांच्या मार्फत केल्या जातात. आणि बँकिंग बिझनेस संदर्भामध्ये डायरेक्शन जे आहेत ते सध्या RBI मार्फत दिले जातात. पण इफ यू गेट कन्व्हर्टेड इन टू दी प्रायव्हेट बँक त्याच्यानंतर तुमचं पूर्णपणे कंट्रोल जे आहे ते RBIच्या अंडर जाईल. पण आत्ता तुम्हाला कॉपरेटिव्ह बँक म्हणून ज्या लिमिटेशन्स आहेत, ज्या काही बँका जेव्हा एक सॅच्युरेशन स्टेजमध्ये येतात ॲज अ कॉपरेटिव्ह बँक आणि त्यांची ग्रोथ पुरेशी झालेली आहे, महाराष्ट्रभरामध्ये झालेली आहे, 2-4 राज्यामध्ये तुमच्या काही ब्रँचेस ओपन झाल्या आहेत, अशा वेळेला तुम्ही तुम्हाला मर्यादा येतील काही लिमिटच्या पलीकडे गेल्यानंतर. जर का तुम्हाला तुमचा हेतू असेल की तुम्हाला अजूनही मोठ्या बिझनेसमध्ये जायचं आहे आणि प्रायव्हेट बँकमध्ये कन्वर्ट व्हायचं आहे, एक ऑप्शन गांधी कमिटीच्या रेकमेंडेशन्समधून उपलब्ध झालेला आहे. दिस इज माय प्रायमरी इन्फॉर्मेशन. त्याच्या बाकी डिटेल्स मलाही अजून अभ्यास करायचे आहेत. मी तुम्हाला कदाचित भविष्यामध्ये नंतर सांगू शकेन.
थँक्यू सर.
ओके, प्रतापराव, लास्ट क्वेश्चन.
माझं क्वेश्चन नव्हतं साहेब. अकोला DCCने आता सांगितलं की ह्या 3 टायर स्ट्रक्चरमध्ये जसं सोसायटी पातळीवरती वसूल येईल तसा बँक पातळीवरती घ्यायला त्यांनी सुरुवात केलेली आहे.
बरोबर आहे.
पण दॅट विल हॅम्पर द बॅलन्स शीट ऑफ द DCC बँक सर, and that will against the banking principle, because banking principle says that our borrower unit is the PAX, and if banking principle says that the recovery from the borrowers is first to the oldest account, that is NPA, overdue interest, then interest, and then regular current dues. That is think about the Akola DCC about these accounting systems.
So, accounting should be like, I am not really worked in a PAX situation. The PAX will be account holder in DCCB, right? This is not. So everything should be in the PAX account only, the basic PAX account. Directly the borrower account should not come in DCCB. That's how accounting what I know. So if you follow that, it is safe. Otherwise, what is sending the danger of having a bank balance sheet will be there. Please.
He just pointed out the limitations of the present manual system of working and working into the connected mode. If you wanted to have the integrated approach from Maharashtra State Cooperative Bank to the PAC, then the present system of accounting will have to also reviewed and given the new directions.
See, participating in national payment system, we have the same structure. Those are not direct members in the national payment system. They are coming through in between a bank. The same model can be followed for accounting also. Like we treat the other banks, like if State Cooperative Bank is a member and DCCBs are sub-member. Like many urban cooperative banks are sub-members of some bank which is providing the service. So it will be like a sub-member account. What you are saying, yes, it's really the concern. If you directly bring the PAX individual accounts into the DCCB, you should not bring. That's the basic principle.
माझं नाव खंडागळे, मी सांगली सहकारी बँक मुंबई इथून बोलतोय. साहेब, मागाशी आपण गांधी कमिटीच्या बाबतीत एक्सप्लेनेशन्स दिलं, त्याच्यामध्ये असं एक पॉईंट आहे, मुद्दा, जे आपलं बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर निवडून येतं, त्या बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टरने पुन्हा बोर्ड ऑफ मॅनेजमेंटचे एक प्रोव्हिजन करायला सांगितले निवडून यायचं. मग ज्यावेळेस बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर आणि बोर्ड ऑफ मॅनेजमेंट हे ड्युअल सिस्टीम वर्किंग ज्यावेळेस होते, त्यावेळेस एक बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टरवरती किंवा याच्यावरती एक कंपल्शन येतं की त्याच्यावरती रिस्ट्रिक्शन्स येतात कामाचे. ही काय जो मुद्दा मी जे काय थोडंसं वाचलं आहे त्याच्यामध्ये, हा मुद्दा काय फारसं टोटली क्लॅरिफाय झालेला नाही. त्या बोर्ड ऑफ मॅनेजमेंट पण ते कंपल्सरी असावं असं त्याच्यामध्ये म्हटलेलं आहे. याबाबत जर आपण खुलासा केला तर बरं होईल. आणि दुसरा मुद्दा सर, त्याच्यामध्ये आणखी एक आहे की डिपॉझिटर्सना प्राईम इम्पॉर्टन्स दिलं पाहिजे, आणि डिपॉझिटर्सना प्राईम इम्पॉर्टन्स देताना डिपॉझिटर्ससाठी त्या सेक्शनमधून संचालक मंडळावरती काही संचालक हे कंपल्सरी घेतले पाहिजेत असा एक मुद्दा आहे. मग त्यांना संचालकमध्ये घेताना निवडणुकीच्या वेळा घ्यायचं, त्यांचं प्रोव्हिजन करून घ्यायची की त्यांना कॉप करून घ्यायचं, हे क्लॅरिफिकेशन नाही आहे. आणि ते घ्यायचे असेल तर मग आपल्या आत्ता जे एक्झिस्टिंग स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ जी बँकेच्या मेंबरशिपची आहे त्याच्यात वाढ करायची, काय इलेक्शनच्याच वेळा त्या डिपॉझिटर्समधून त्यांचे फॉर्म्स घ्यायचे. हा एक मुद्दा जरा थोडा क्लॅरिफाय झाला तर बरं होईल सर.
मी मग अशी सांगितल्याप्रमाणे गांधी कमिटीच्या रिपोर्ट संदर्भामध्ये आपण IQ माहितीवर किंवा जे काही थोडीफार माहिती तुमच्या माझ्या वाचनामध्ये आली त्याच्या आधारावर बोलतो आहोत. अजूनही गांधी कमिटीचा रिपोर्ट रिझर्व्ह बँक ऑफ इंडिया, गव्हर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडियाने ॲक्सेप्ट केला की नाही केला तो प्रश्न आहे. तो आहे तसा ॲक्सेप्ट केला जाईल की त्याच्यावर आणखी काही चर्चा घडवून देशभरामध्ये आणखी काही त्याच्या बाबतीमध्ये वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारची घेऊन शासन निर्णय करेल, हे अजून काही निश्चित झालेलं नाही. त्याच्यामुळं गांधी कमिटीच्या शिफारशीप्रमाणे लगेच अंमलबजावणी सुरू होणार आहे अशी काही परिस्थिती नाही आहे. त्याच्यामुळं गांधी कमिटीच्या रिपोर्टचा अभ्यास करावा पहिल्यांदा. जर का कोणाला इंटरेस्ट असेल गांधी कमिटीच्या रेकमेंडेशन्सप्रमाणे कॉपरेटिव्ह बँक्स अर्बन बँकेमध्ये कॉपरेटिव्ह बँक्स प्रायव्हेट बँकेमध्ये कन्व्हर्ट करण्यामध्ये, तर अभ्यास फक्त आता जस्ट कमिटीचा रिपोर्ट येऊन अजूनही 10 दिवससुद्धा झालेले नाहीत. त्याच्यामुळे याच्या बाबतीमध्ये अजून लॉंग वे टू गो टू ॲक्सेप्ट दोज रेकमेंडेशन्स अँड कमिंग इन टू दी एक्झिस्टन्स. सो आता आपण अभ्यास करूया पहिल्यांदा, आणि त्याच्यानंतर पुन्हा जेव्हा हा प्रश्न निर्णयासाठी आपल्यासमोर निर्णयाच्या स्वरूपामध्ये गव्हर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडियाकडून येईल तेव्हा आपण त्याच्या बाबतीमध्ये विचार करूया. मला असं वाटतं की ह्या सकाळच्या सेशनमध्ये आपण सकाळच्या सर्व सेशनच्या संदर्भामध्ये आपण प्रश्नोत्तराचा या ठिकाणी घ्यायचा प्रयत्न केला, आणि एक चांगले प्रश्न आपल्यामार्फत या ठिकाणी विचारण्यात आले. या पॅनल डिस्कशनचा जो वेळ दिला होता तो आता संपलेला आहे. सेफ अँड सिक्युअर कॉपरेटिव्ह बँकिंग इन अर्बन अँड रुरल एरियाज या संदर्भामध्ये आता आपल्याबरोबर रघुराज या ठिकाणी पार्टिसिपेट झाले, त्याचप्रमाणे अर्स पार्टिसिपेट झाले. त्या दोघांनाही मी मनापासून धन्यवाद देतो आणि या पॅनल डिस्कशनचा समारोप करतो. थँक्यू.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, and thank you, eminent panelists, and thank you, audience, for interacting in a nicer way. And before leaving the stage, I'll request Honorable Session Chair Shri Chandrakant Dalvi to present mementos to our couple of eminent speakers. And to start with, Shri G. Raguraj, General Manager of IDRBT, इंस्टीट्यूट फॉर डेवलपमेंट एंड रिसर्च इन बैंकिंग टेक्नोलॉजी. एक बार तालियों के साथ धन्यवाद प्रेषित किया जाए. कॉर्पोरेट लीडर फ्रॉम Barakura Networks, Murali, yours, country manager, and a group photo is requested, please. And now after this we'll have that activity of gift giving once more. And before I request a memento to Dalvi sir also, if it has happened. Group photo? Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Now we are left with one more session, but before that we are having one more lucky winner for again a very good gift from Vsoft Technologies. I request Vsoft Technology people to please come on stage as quickly as